Picture this: you've clawed your way from nothing to a $10 million empire, poured your heart into supporting everyone you love, only to have your mother-in-law sneer, "Get out, you lowlife." That's the gut punch Ava Thompson took. A Texas girl who turned betrayal into triumph. What would you do if the family you fought for turned on you? Would you swallow the pain, keep the peace, or walk away and rewrite your story? Ava chose the latter, and her journey is one of raw courage. In a world quick to judge, she built her worth from scratch, only to face a venomous attack from the one person who should have stood by her. This isn't just a story, it's a lesson in standing tall. Stay with me to see how Ava turned a cruel insult into her greatest victory. Ava Thompson, 34, is as Texas as they come. Born in Lubbock, where the plains stretch endless and hard work is gospel, she grew up knowing struggle. Her dad, James, toiled on oil rigs, coming home bone-tired. Her mom, Clara, scrubbed houses and waited tables, always with a smile for Ava, their only child. Their small home was cramped, Ava's room stuffed with cleaning supplies, but it was love that kept the lights on. As a teen, Ava wore thrift store clothes, mocked by classmates, but she didn't break. At 15, she sold handmade bracelets at school, her hustle born from babysitting cash. That spark of grit defined her. In high school, she met Ryan Parker, a Dallas boy from wealth, in chemistry class. His kind eyes saw her drive, not her worn shoes. They fell in love, a bond that weathered their different worlds. While Ryan headed to UT Austin, Ava stayed in Lubbock, working retail, teaching herself graphic design at the library. No degree, just determination. By 22, she launched Narrative Edge, a social media venture, from her parents' garage. Early clients doubted her, no Texas A&M pedigree, but Ava's storytelling gift won them over. By 30, her company hit $10 million, a testament to Texas tenacity. If you're in Texas, you know the weight of family ties, the pride of building something from nothing. Ava's story mirrors that spirit, but it's also a tale of battling judgment from those closest to you, in a state where loyalty runs deep. Ava's success didn't win everyone's respect. Ryan's mother, Evelyn Parker, a Highland Park socialite, never saw Ava as worthy. Her cold smiles hid disdain for Ava's lack of a degree, her small-town roots. For 7 years, Ava endured Evelyn's barbs. "A girl like you is lucky to be here," while supporting Ryan's family. She paid for his sister's education, his brother's medical bills, even Evelyn's country club fees. But gratitude never came. At a lavish Dallas dinner, meant to celebrate family, Evelyn's mask slipped. Drunk on wine and resentment, she lashed out, "Get out, you lowlife. We were better off without you." The room fell silent, her words a dagger to Ava's heart. Ava walked out, not in defeat, but in defiance. That night sparked a reckoning. She fled to Hawaii, seeking peace, and rewrote her life on her terms. This story isn't just about revenge, it's about reclaiming your worth when others try to tear it down. We'll dive into Ava's journey, from Lubbock's dusty streets to Maui's shores, and uncover how she turned pain into power. For anyone who's felt judged, undervalued, or betrayed, this is your story too. It's about finding the strength to say, enough, and choosing yourself, no matter the cost. Y'all, Ava's story is pure Texas grit, a tale of rising above, even when the odds and the in-laws are stacked against you. If you've ever felt the sting of being looked down on, or fought to prove your worth, you're gonna want to hear how Ava turned the tables. Stick with me for a journey that's raw, real, and full of lessons about standing tall. If this hits home, hit that subscribe button right now, we're just getting started. Drop a like if you're ready to see how Ava took Evelyn's cruel words and built a life that screams, "I'm enough." In the comments, tell me, have you ever had to walk away from toxic family to find your peace? Let's build a community of folks who know their value. This is more than a story, it's a call to fight for yourself, Texas style. So, grab a coffee, settle in, and let's dive into how Ava Thompson turned betrayal into her biggest victory. You don't want to miss this. Y'all, Ava Thompson's story starts in the dusty plains of Lubbock, Texas, where life taught her to fight for every inch. Born 34 years ago to James and Clara, Ava grew up in a small two-bedroom house that always felt full of love, but also struggle. Her dad worked long shifts on oil rigs, coming home with grease-stained hands and a tired smile. Her mom cleaned houses by day, waited tables by night, her apron a badge of honor. Money was tight, new clothes were a fantasy, and Ava shared her room with boxes of cleaning supplies and faded Christmas decorations. But her parents poured everything into her, their only child, teaching her that hard work could outshine any hardship. In Lubbock, where community runs deep, Ava learned to hold her head high, even when kids at school sneered at her thrift store outfits. Those taunts stung, but they lit a fire in her. At 15, she started making beaded bracelets, stringing them together during lunch breaks, selling them to classmates after the bell. Every dime from babysitting went to supplies, and every sale felt like a small victory. Ava wasn't just crafting jewelry, she was crafting her future. That hustle, born in a town where grit is currency, shaped her. She'd walk past the oil rigs, dreaming of something bigger, something hers. Texas folks know this feeling, the weight of small-town expectations, the pride of proving yourself. Ava carried that pride, even when others saw only her patched jeans. Her parents' sacrifices were her foundation, their work ethic her blueprint. She didn't have a fancy degree or a trust fund, but she had a vision. In Lubbock, where the horizon feels endless, Ava learned to see beyond her circumstances, to believe that a girl from nowhere could become somebody. That belief would carry her through years of doubt, through moments when the world told her she wasn't enough. This is where Ava's story begins, not with money or privilege, but with the kind of Texas tenacity that no one could take away. High school changed everything for Ava. In her sophomore year, she was paired with Ryan Parker in chemistry class, a boy who seemed to belong to a different world. Ryan, 34 now but 16 then, came from Dallas wealth, wavy brown hair, kind eyes, and a confidence that came from never worrying about money. Ava, in her worn sneakers and rotating 3 outfits, braced for judgment. But Ryan surprised her. "You're Ava, right?" he said, leaning across their lab table. "I've seen you selling those bracelets. That's pretty damn cool." She blinked, stunned that this boy from Highland Park noticed her hustle, not her hand-me-downs. They clicked instantly, balancing each other like a perfect equation. Ava was methodical, double-checking every measurement. Ryan was intuitive, dreaming up wild experiments. Their grades soared, but so did their connection. Conversations about chemical reactions turned into talks about dreams, fears, and the future. 3 months later, they had their first date at a Lubbock diner where Ava's mom sometimes worked. Ava cringed when Clara took their order, but Ryan charmed her with a grin, unfazed by the grease-stained menus. That was Ryan, he saw value where others saw lack. Their love grew despite the divide between their worlds. In Texas, where family names can carry weight, Ryan's choice to love Ava was a quiet rebellion. He didn't care about her lack of pedigree or the whispers from his Dallas crowd. When senior year came, Ryan got into UT Austin, his dad's alma mater, while Ava stayed in Lubbock. No college, no scholarships, just a fire to build something of her own. "You could get financial aid," Ryan urged, but Ava shook her head. "That's not my path," she said. He respected her choice, even when his family didn't. His mother, Evelyn, had already started her campaign of subtle digs, calling Ava unambitious behind closed doors. But Ryan stood firm, seeing in Ava what she saw in herself, a spark that no amount of money could buy. Their love, forged in a high school lab, became the anchor for everything that followed, a bond that would face tests neither could imagine. When Ryan left for UT Austin, Ava stayed in Lubbock, determined to carve her own path. College wasn't in the cards, her parents' savings barely covered the bills, and scholarships felt like a long shot. Instead, she took 2 retail jobs, folding clothes and ringing up groceries, saving every penny. At night, she'd haunt the public library, teaching herself graphic design and marketing through free online courses. Her dream was bigger than a paycheck. She wanted to build something real, something that proved a girl from Lubbock could outshine the doubters. At 22, Ava took a leap, launching Narrative Edge, a social media management service for local businesses, from her parents' garage. She bought a used computer with her savings, set up a desk next to dusty boxes, and started cold calling mom-and-pop shops. The early days were brutal. Her first big client, a Lubbock restaurant, dropped her after 3 months, saying, "We need someone with a degree from Texas A&M or UT." The rejection hit hard, like a Texas dust storm, clouding her confidence. Then her computer crashed, wiping out unbacked-up designs, eating through their emergency fund to replace it. Ava sat in that garage, tears streaming, wondering if she'd made a mistake. "Maybe I should just get a regular job," she told Ryan one night, her voice breaking. He was home from Austin, sitting on a folding chair in her makeshift office. "This is just the journey," he said, his hand on hers. "Every success story has setbacks. You don't quit." His words were a lifeline, pulling her back from the edge. Ava regrouped, focusing on smaller clients, a bakery, a hardware store, pouring her heart into their campaigns. She learned fast, studying consumer psychology, mastering social media trends, all while working 16-hour days. But the failures kept coming. A second venture, an online boutique for vintage Texas clothing, tanked when she couldn't compete with big retailers' shipping costs. Evelyn's voice echoed in her head, "Some people aren't meant to be entrepreneurs." Ava pushed it aside, channeling her Texas grit. She'd grown up watching her parents work multiple jobs, never giving up. If they could keep going, so could she. Slowly, she refined her approach, finding her knack for storytelling, connecting businesses to customers through authentic, emotional campaigns. A local fitness center hired her, desperate to stand out. Ava crafted a campaign around real member stories, not glossy ads, and their memberships jumped 30%. Word spread, and soon she had 3 new clients, all drawn to her ability to make brands feel human. In Texas, where community is everything, Ava's work resonated. She wasn't just building a business, she was building trust, proving that a lack of a degree didn't mean a lack of vision. Those early failures, painful as they were, taught her resilience, shaping her into the woman who'd one day face down a far bigger challenge. Ava's breakthrough came when she realized her true talent, telling stories that hit people in the heart. Her campaign for a Lubbock bakery went viral locally, doubling their sales by sharing the owner's story, a single mom baking recipes from her Texas grandma. That win was a turning point. By 27, Narrative Edge wasn't just Ava in pajamas in a garage, it was a real company, with 3 employees and a small downtown Lubbock office. Her approach, blending authentic storytelling with sharp digital strategy, set her apart. While other agencies chased trends, Ava created emotional connections, especially with millennials and Gen Z. She landed a major client, a regional chain of Texas fitness centers struggling against national brands. Her campaign, built on real member transformations, boosted their memberships by 30% in 3 months. By the time Ava was 30, Narrative Edge was valued at $10 million, with clients across the U.S., from Austin startups to Houston retailers. Her income surpassed Ryan's corporate salary, a fact he celebrated with champagne and pride. "You're unstoppable," he'd say, his eyes shining. They bought a 4-bedroom house in Austin, not Highland Park fancy, but theirs, paid for with their own money, no help from Ryan's parents. Ava insisted on that independence, a nod to her Lubbock roots. She never forgot where she came from, hiring folks from her old neighborhood, like the daughter of her high school counselor, fresh out of recovery and needing a chance. Ava set up a scholarship for kids like her, entrepreneurial, overlooked, choosing paths outside college. She made sure her parents never worked multiple jobs again, buying them a cozy home in Lubbock. In Texas, where family and community run deep, Ava's success wasn't just about money, it was about lifting others up. But not everyone cheered. Ryan's mother, Evelyn, saw Ava's rise as a threat, her backhanded compliments growing sharper. "It's amazing what you do without a degree." Ava shared her success at family dinners, hoping for respect, but Evelyn dismissed it. "Internet businesses are a bubble." Even when Ava showed her a six-figure contract, Evelyn sniffed, "Let's see if they renew." They did, and referred more clients. By their third year of marriage, Narrative Edge had 20 employees and a sleek office in Grand Rapids, Michigan, where Ava and Ryan had moved for his job. But they returned to Texas often, and Ava opened a branch in Austin, tapping into the city's booming tech scene. She pioneered strategies that made brands feel like neighbors, not corporations, resonating with Texas values of authenticity. Her team grew to 27, including a young woman from Lubbock who, like Ava, faced family doubts for skipping college. Ava mentored her, seeing her younger self in those determined eyes. The company's expansion wasn't just business, it was personal. Ava's success was a middle finger to every doubter, every kid who mocked her clothes, every client who questioned her lack of a degree. She'd built an empire on her terms, proving that Texas grit could outshine any diploma. Ryan, now her chief operations officer, brought structure to her vision, their high school chemistry sparking anew in boardrooms. Their Austin home became a hub for family, hosting barbecues where Ava's parents brought homemade pies, a far cry from Evelyn's catered affairs. Ava's journey wasn't just about money, it was about rewriting the narrative of what success looks like. She'd turned her pain into power, but the biggest test was yet to come, when Evelyn's resentment would boil over, threatening everything Ava had built. Y'all, stepping into Ryan Parker's world was like crossing a border for Ava Thompson. At 16, Ava, a Lubbock girl with thrift store clothes and big dreams, fell for Ryan, a Dallas boy whose life screamed privilege. Their high school chemistry sparked love, but meeting his family was a cold wake-up call. The Parkers lived in Highland Park, Dallas, where manicured lawns and three-car garages were standard. Their colonial mansion, with its crystal chandelier and marble foyer, felt like a museum compared to Ava's cramped Lubbock home. Ryan's mother, Evelyn Parker, was the gatekeeper of this world, perfectly highlighted hair, tennis club poise, and a smile that never reached her eyes. The first time Ava walked through their door, Evelyn's gaze swept over her like a scanner. "So, you're the girl Ryan's been mentioning," she said, her voice honey-dipped venom. "What does your father do again?" Ava, clutching her courage, answered, "He works oil rigs in Lubbock." Evelyn's reply, "Oh, isn't that nice?" was a masterclass in condescension. In Texas, where family names can carry weight, Ava felt the sting of being sized up and found wanting. Ryan's father, James, was warmer, a self-made attorney who'd clawed his way up. He asked Ava about her bracelet business, his questions kind, but Evelyn's presence loomed. Ryan's siblings, Lily and Noah, were polite but distant, mirroring their mother's cues. Ava sensed the unspoken rule: she was an outsider, tolerated only because Ryan loved her. Evelyn's judgment wasn't just about money, it was about pedigree. Ava had none, and Evelyn never let her forget it. Over dinners, Evelyn would steer conversations to elite colleges or exclusive clubs, topics Ava couldn't touch. "Ryan's headed to UT Austin, like his father," she'd say, her eyes on Ava. "What about you, dear?" Ava's answer, "I'm working to start my own business," was met with a tight smile. "How ambitious," Evelyn said, the word dripping with doubt. Ava swallowed the hurt, telling herself love was worth it. In Texas, family is everything, but Ava learned early that some families draw lines you can't cross. She'd spend years trying to prove herself to Evelyn, not knowing each step forward would deepen the resentment. Evelyn saw Ava's hustle as a threat, a challenge to her world of inherited status. Ryan stood by Ava, whispering, "Don't let her get to you," but his words couldn't shield her from the chill of Evelyn's disdain. This was the start of a battle Ava didn't choose, a battle that would test her strength in ways she never imagined. Ava and Ryan's love carried them through high school and beyond, but their wedding at 24 was a study in contrasts. They tied the knot in an Austin botanical garden, surrounded by wildflowers and sunlight, a setting that felt true to their roots. Ava's parents, James and Clara, scraped together savings to give her a day she'd cherish, their pride shining brighter than any diamond. Ryan's parents contributed too, but Evelyn made sure everyone knew the exact cost of her generosity. "We couldn't let Ryan's day look modest," she told a guest, loud enough for Ava to hear. The words landed like a slap, but Ava smiled through it, her white dress a shield against Evelyn's barbs. At the reception, Evelyn cornered Ava near the restrooms, a champagne flute in hand. "I hope you know how lucky you are," she said, her voice low. "Not many girls from your background end up with someone like my son." Ava's throat tightened, but she replied, "I know exactly what a good husband I am to your son." Ava replied, "I'm lucky to have a man who values me for who I am." Evelyn's eyes narrowed, but she walked away without a word. That moment set the tone for their marriage. Evelyn's insults were never loud, always cloaked in politeness, designed to wound without leaving a mark. Over Sunday dinners in Highland Park, she'd weave her critiques into casual chatter. "It's so impressive what you do, Ava, without any formal education," she'd say, her smile sharp. Or, "Ryan's corporate job must be such a relief, knowing you have a stable income." Each jab chipped away at Ava's confidence, but she held her tongue for Ryan's sake. In Texas, where family harmony is a virtue, Ava tried to fit into Evelyn's world. She dressed carefully for those dinners, trading her Lubbock simplicity for tailored blouses, hoping to soften Evelyn's judgment. It didn't work. Evelyn's emails, new in those early years, were another weapon. "I saw your latest campaign," one read. "Such a clever use of social media." Of course, real business requires more substance. Ava read it alone in their Austin apartment, her heart sinking. She showed Ryan, who sighed. "She doesn't mean it like that," he said, but Ava knew better. Evelyn's words were deliberate, a reminder that Ava would never belong. Ryan's siblings, Lily and Noah, stayed neutral, caught in their mother's orbit. James, Ryan's father, offered quiet support, once pulling Ava aside to say, "I started with nothing too. Keep going." His words were a bomb, but they couldn't erase Evelyn's campaign. At a Christmas gathering, Evelyn toasted Ryan's promotion, then added, "It's a shame Ava's so busy with her little hobby. A wife's place is supporting her husband." Ava's cheeks burned, but she stayed silent, pouring her energy into narrative edge. She thought success would change Evelyn's tune, but each milestone, new clients, bigger contracts, only sharpened the older woman's edge. Ava's patience, rooted in her Texas upbringing, began to fray, but she clung to the hope that love could bridge the gap. She didn't yet see that Evelyn's resentment wasn't about her, it was about control, about a mother who couldn't stand her son choosing a woman she deemed beneath him. As narrative edge grew, Ava's heart grew too, extending her success to Ryan's family despite Evelyn's disdain. By 27, her company was a powerhouse, employing 20 people and turning a profit that outstripped Ryan's corporate salary. Ava's wealth wasn't just numbers, it was a chance to lift others up, a value she learned in Lubbock's tight-knit community. When Ryan's sister, Lily, hit a rough patch after graduating from a pricey private college, Ava didn't hesitate. Lily's art history degree left her drowning in student loans, with no job to cover them. Over a Sunday dinner, Lily broke down, admitting she felt lost. "We can help," Ava said, her voice steady. She offered to cover Lily's loan payments for a year, giving her breathing room to find her path. Evelyn bristled, her fork pausing mid-air. That's generous, but Lily doesn't need charity, she said, her tone icy. Ryan cut in, "It's not charity, Mom. It's family." Ava went further, funding a digital design certificate program that made Lily marketable. When Lily landed a job, her tearful, "Thank you, Ava," was worth every penny. Months later, Noah, Ryan's brother, faced a crisis, a rare medical condition requiring treatment his insurance wouldn't fully cover. The bills topped $50,000, a sum that left Noah pale and quiet. Ava transferred the money without a second thought. "Family doesn't let families suffer," she told him when he tried to refuse. Noah hugged her, his gratitude silent but deep. Ava even covered Evelyn and James's country club fees, a secret Ryan arranged after James hinted at financial strain during an economic dip. Ava didn't know until years later, but it explained Evelyn's smug glances, as if Ava's money was expected, not appreciated. In Texas, where generosity is a point of pride, Ava's actions spoke volumes. She funded family vacations, flying everyone first class to Europe, a Christmas gift that left Lily and Noah speechless. She paid for Noah's Napa Valley wedding, ensuring it was the fairy tale he dreamed of. She even bankrolled renovations on the Parkers' Aspen vacation home, a project Evelyn oversaw with glee, never mentioning Ava's contribution. But gratitude from Evelyn? That was a mirage. Instead, her comments grew sharper. "Ava's so good at throwing money around," she'd say at dinners, her laugh too loud. Or, "It's nice you can afford to be so charitable." The word was a knife, twisting Ava's kindness into something cheap. Ava showed Evelyn her latest campaign, hoping to bridge the gap. "They signed a 6-figure contract," she said, her voice hopeful. Evelyn nodded. "Small businesses often expect work for exposure. I hope you're charging properly." The dismissal stung, but Ava pressed on, believing her generosity might soften Evelyn. It didn't. A new email arrived, "Your success is surprising, given your background. Social media is such a fleeting thing." Ava read it in her Austin office, her hands trembling. Ryan's apologies, "She's just old school," felt hollow. Evelyn's resentment wasn't about Ava's money, it was about her power, her ability to outshine the Parker name. Ava's Texas heart wanted to keep giving, but each act of kindness widened the rift, setting the stage for a confrontation that would shatter everything. The explosion came at a Sunday dinner in Highland Park, meant to celebrate Lily's new job at a prestigious Dallas design firm, a job Ava's support made possible. The Parker mansion was as grand as ever, its chandelier casting light over a table set with crystal and linen. Ava, now 34 and a titan with her $10 million narrative edge, dressed carefully, her designer dress and pearl earrings a quiet armor. She sensed the tension the moment she arrived. Evelyn, wine glass in hand before 6 p.m., greeted Ryan with a hug, barely nodding at Ava. "Everyone's in the living room," she said, her voice clipped. Lily was radiant, gushing about her role, and Ava felt a swell of pride. "I couldn't have done it without Ava," Lily told the guests, her smile genuine. Evelyn laughed, too loud. "Well, Ava's got money to throw around, doesn't she? Though your talent would have shown through." The jab landed, but Ava let it slide, focusing on Lily. As dinner began, Evelyn's wine glass kept refilling, her cheeks flushing, her comments growing reckless. Ryan shared Ava's latest triumph, Ava's in Marketing Innovator magazine this month. Lily clapped. "That's incredible, Ava. For someone self-taught, you're killing it." Evelyn swirled her wine. "Self-taught, yes. That's one way to put it. Others might say uneducated." The table went quiet, forks pausing. Ryan's voice was low, "Mom, stop." Evelyn waved him off. "I'm complimenting her resourcefulness. The internet makes anything possible these days." Ava took a breath, her voice steady. Education comes in many forms, Evelyn. I've learned what I need to build a business. Evelyn's smile was brittle. Of course, dear. But refinement, connections, culture, those come from higher education. James cleared his throat. Results matter, Evelyn. Ava speak for themselves. The conversation shifted, but Evelyn wasn't done. When Lily mentioned starting her own studio, Ava offered advice: build a client base while employed. That's how I started. Evelyn cut in, her words slurring. Oh, please, Ava. Lily doesn't need tips from someone who got lucky on Instagram. She has an actual education. Lily gasped. Mom. Ryan's fork clattered. Enough, Mom. Ava runs a multi-million-dollar company. Show some respect. Noah, usually quiet, added, Ava paid for Lily's program. And my medical bills. Evelyn's face darkened. No one asked her to flaunt her money. If she's so desperate to buy her way into this family, James snapped, Evelyn, stop. But she didn't. Her voice rose, venomous. I've held my tongue too long. We've pretended Ryan didn't throw away his potential on an uneducated girl from Lubbock. 7 years of her new money nonsense, turning my children against me. The room froze, guests shifting uncomfortably. Ryan stood, his chair scraping. Apologize. Now. Evelyn raised her chin. Why? I'm not the one who married down, letting my wife bankroll me. What kind of man lives off her earnings? Ava spoke, her voice calm but steel. A secure one, Evelyn. A man who values partnership over ego. Evelyn laughed, bitter. Partnership? You've poisoned my family, made my kids depend on your handouts. You're nothing but lowlife trash, and you know it. Ryan's chair fell backward. We're leaving. Evelyn sneered. Good. Get out of our lives, you lowlife. We were better off without you. Ava stood, placing her napkin down, her hands steady despite her racing heart. Thank you, Evelyn, for finally saying what you've always thought. It's refreshing after 7 years. She walked out, head high, Ryan trailing her. Evelyn's voice followed, she's turning him against us. This is what I meant. In that moment, Ava didn't just leave a dinner, she left a lifetime of trying to prove herself to someone who'd never see her worth. In Texas, where pride runs deep, Ava's exit was a quiet rebellion, a step toward reclaiming her power. The pain of Evelyn's words would linger, but so would the clarity they brought, setting Ava on a path to a life where she'd never again let anyone dim her light. Y'all, sometimes you don't know how heavy a burden is until you set it down. For Ava Thompson, that moment came after Evelyn Parker's venomous words, "Get out, you lowlife," cut through her at that Highland Park dinner. At 34, Ava had built a $10 million empire with narrative edge, supported Ryan's entire family, and endured 7 years of Evelyn's disdain. But those words were the final straw. That night, Ava didn't drive back to their Austin home. She booked a one-way ticket to their Maui vacation house, her hands shaking as she packed a single bag. I need space, she told Ryan, her voice firm but cracking. Stay here. Figure out what family means to you. In Texas, where loyalty runs deep, walking away felt like betraying everything she'd been raised to value. But Ava was done proving herself to someone who'd never see her worth. The flight to Hawaii was a blur, her mind replaying Evelyn's slurs, the silence of Ryan's siblings, the weight of years spent trying to belong. When she landed in Maui, the salty air hit her like a reset button. Their oceanfront home, with its open lanai and swaying palms, was a world away from Dallas's polished cruelty. For the first time in years, Ava breathed deeply, the rhythm of the waves washing away the noise in her head. She woke at dawn, walking barefoot on the beach, letting the sand ground her. In Lubbock, she dreamed of a life bigger than her circumstances. In Hawaii, she dreamed of a life free from judgment. Ava threw herself into work, leading Narrative Edge remotely. She secured a new client, a sustainable tourism brand, and crafted a campaign that felt like an extension of her newfound peace. The company thrived, but this wasn't about money, it was about reclaiming herself. She journaled late into the night, unpacking years of Evelyn's jabs, from uneducated to lowlife. Each word she wrote felt like shedding a layer of shame. Ava realized she'd been fighting a losing battle, not because she wasn't enough, but because Evelyn's resentment was about control, not Ava's worth. In Texas, we're taught to keep family close, even when it hurts. But on that Maui shore, Ava learned a new truth: sometimes, walking away is the bravest thing you can do. She wasn't running, she was choosing herself, a choice that would redefine her future. Those first weeks in Hawaii weren't just an escape, they were a rebirth, a chance to rebuild Ava's spirit from the ground up, stronger than ever. 3 weeks after Ava left for Maui, Ryan showed up at their Hawaii home, pulling a suitcase across the lanai, his face etched with exhaustion and resolve. "I can't lose you," he said, his voice raw. Ava stood in the doorway, arms crossed, her heart torn between love and betrayal. She'd spent 7 years loving Ryan, building a life with him, but his silence at that dinner, his failure to fully shield her from Evelyn, had cracked their foundation. In Texas, where partnership means standing tall together, Ava felt Ryan had faltered. "Why didn't you stop her sooner?" she asked, her eyes searching his. Ryan sank into a wicker chair, running a hand through his hair. "I thought I could keep the peace," he admitted. "I was wrong." Their first night was tense, words careful, like navigating a minefield. Then Ava found a bank statement in Ryan's bag, showing he'd paid Evelyn's country club fees after the dinner, even as Ava reeled from her insults. The discovery hit like a punch. That evening, on the beach, with waves crashing under a crimson sunset, Ava let loose. "You paid for her golf club while she called me trash?" she demanded, her voice shaking. "You let her disrespect me, Ryan, and still supported her lifestyle." Ryan's face fell. "I thought it'd keep things calm," he said. "I didn't want to lose my family, or you." Ava stepped back, the sand cold under her feet. "You don't get it. I was your family, and you chose her." The argument laid bare their differences, Ryan's instinct to mediate, Ava's need for loyalty. They agreed to try video therapy, logging into sessions from their lanai, a Honolulu therapist guiding them through the wreckage. Ryan owned his mistakes, admitting he'd been raised to smooth over Evelyn's sharp edges. "I grew up dodging her temper," he said. "I thought I could protect you by not fighting back." Ava shared her pain, how Evelyn's words echoed her childhood fears of being less than. Therapy was grueling, peeling back layers of guilt and resentment. Ryan revealed a new truth: Evelyn had called Ava a mistake the day he proposed, a secret he'd buried to spare her. The revelation hurt, but it also clarified Ryan's struggle, torn between his mother's control and his love for Ava. In Texas, family ties can feel like chains, and Ryan was starting to see his own. He vowed to change, to prioritize Ava over peacekeeping. They spent evenings rebuilding trust, cooking dinner together, talking until midnight. Ava saw glimpses of the boy from chemistry class, the one who saw her worth before she did. Ryan's commitment wasn't just words, he stopped all payments to Evelyn, a line drawn in the sand. Their love, battered but not broken, began to heal, rooted in a new understanding that partnership meant choosing each other, no matter the cost. Ava knew healing her marriage wasn't enough, she had to protect her peace. Setting boundaries with Evelyn was the hardest step, a test of her Texas-bred resilience. A month into their Maui stay, Evelyn called Ryan, her voice syrupy over speakerphone. "I was harsh at dinner," she said. "I'm concerned about Ava's influence, that's all." Ava, listening nearby, felt her stomach twist. "Concern? Evelyn had called her lowlife trash, a wound still raw. She took the phone, her voice steady. "Evelyn, you didn't express concern. You called me trash." "That's not a misunderstanding, it's a choice." Evelyn stammered, "I was upset, dear. You know how wine loosens tongues." Ava cut her off. "Words reveal truth. Until you show real change, I'm done." She hung up, her hands trembling but her heart resolute. In Texas, where family gatherings are sacred, cutting contact felt radical, but Ava saw it as survival. She told Ryan, "No more dinners, no more calls, until she respects me." Ryan nodded, his jaw tight but supportive. "I'm with you," he said. Ava's boundary wasn't just about Evelyn, it was a message to herself. Her worth wasn't negotiable. She poured her energy into Narrative Edge, opening a new branch focused on sustainable tourism, a nod to Hawaii's spirit. The work grounded her, reminding her of her Lubbock days, when every sail was a step toward freedom. Evelyn tried again, sending an email, "I hope we can move past this. Family is everything." Ava read it aloud to Ryan, her voice calm. "Family doesn't tear you down," she said. She didn't reply, letting silence speak. Ryan struggled with the distance. He'd grown up craving Evelyn's approval, but therapy helped him see her manipulation. "She's always controlled us with guilt," he told Ava one night, the ocean humming outside. "I'm breaking that cycle." They agreed. Hawaii was their home now, a fresh start away from Dallas's toxic pull. Ava compared it to a Texas truth. Sometimes, you leave a dry ranch for fertile land, not because you're weak, but because you know your worth. She hired a local team in Maui, including a young woman whose family doubted her for skipping college, echoing Ava's own path. Narrative Edge's growth wasn't just professional, it was personal, proof that Ava could thrive without Evelyn's shadow. Setting boundaries gave Ava clarity. Love didn't mean enduring abuse, and family didn't mean sacrificing self-respect. Her decision wasn't revenge, it was liberation, a step toward a life where she'd never again let anyone dim her light. With boundaries set, Ava and Ryan rebuilt their life in Maui, crafting a world that reflected their values, not Evelyn's. Narrative Edge flourished, its new sustainable tourism branch drawing clients who shared Ava's vision of authenticity. She converted their Austin home into the company's headquarters, keeping a small apartment for Texas visits, a nod to their roots. In Texas, where home is sacred, this shift was bold, but Ava felt unburdened, her spirit lighter than ever. She and Ryan rediscovered their partnership, their high school chemistry sparking anew. They hiked Maui's trails, cooked fresh fish on their lanai, and laughed like they hadn't in years. Therapy strengthened their bond, teaching Ryan to challenge his family's dysfunction. "I let you carry too much," he told Ava one night, the stars above them endless. Never again. Ava felt whole, her worth no longer tied to Evelyn's approval. She mentored her Maui team, seeing her Lubbock grit in their eyes, and expanded Narrative Edge to 30 employees, including a Texas branch led by a woman who, like Ava, defied expectations. Their life wasn't perfect, Evelyn's shadow lingered, her calls unanswered, but it was theirs. Ava journaled daily, her words a testament to her growth. "I didn't leave to hurt anyone. I left to save myself." In Texas, we're taught to fight for family, but Ava fought for something bigger, her peace. This wasn't revenge, it was redemption, a life built on her terms, proof that a girl from Lubbock could rise above any storm. Y'all, Ava Thompson's story doesn't end with her walking out of that Highland Park dinner, head held high after Evelyn's cruel, lowlife jab. At 34, Ava built a new life in Maui, turning her pain into a foundation for peace. She and Ryan made Hawaii their home, their oceanfront house a sanctuary where the waves drowned out Dallas's echoes. Narrative Edge, Ava's $10 million empire, soared higher, its new sustainable tourism branch drawing clients who valued her vision of authenticity. She opened offices nationwide, including a Texas branch in Austin, led by a young woman from Lubbock who, like Ava, faced family doubts for skipping college. Ava mentored her, seeing her own grit in those determined eyes, a reminder of why she fought so hard. Back in Texas, their Austin home became Narrative Edge's headquarters, with a small apartment for visits, tying them to their roots without the weight of Evelyn's world. Ryan stepped up, leaving his corporate job to join Narrative Edge as Chief Operations Officer, his high school chemistry with Ava sparking anew in boardrooms. Their love, tested by years of Evelyn's disdain, grew stronger through therapy, rooted in mutual respect. But what about Evelyn? A year after the dinner, she visited Maui, her usual poise softened by time and distance. "You've done well," she said, her voice stiff but lacking its old venom. It wasn't a warm embrace, Ava didn't expect one, but it was progress. Evelyn saw Narrative Edge's success splashed across business magazines, her son thriving beside Ava, and her own world quieter without Ava's generosity. Lily, Ryan's sister, had started her own design studio, thanks to Ava's early support, and Noah, his brother, was healthy, his medical bills long paid. Evelyn couldn't ignore the truth. Ava had been the family's backbone, not its burden. In Texas, where pride can be stubborn, Evelyn's visit was her version of an apology, a grudging nod to Ava's worth. Ava accepted it, not for Evelyn, but for herself. She no longer needed anyone's approval. This wasn't the fairy tale reconciliation Hollywood sells, it was real, messy, and enough. Ava's new life wasn't about proving Evelyn wrong, it was about proving herself right, building a world where her Lubbock heart could shine. Ava's journey holds lessons that hit deep, especially for those of us raised in Texas, where family and pride run like rivers. The biggest takeaway? Your worth isn't tied to anyone's approval, not your in-laws, not your critics, not even the folks you love most. Ava spent 7 years trying to win Evelyn over, pouring her $10 million success into Ryan's family, only to be called lowlife trash. That pain taught her a truth: you can't change someone who's decided you're less than. But you can change how you respond. Ava's choice to walk away, to leave Dallas for Maui, wasn't weakness, it was strength, the kind forged in Lubbock's dusty plains. Setting boundaries isn't selfish, it's survival. When Ava told Evelyn, "No contact until you show real change," she wasn't punishing her, she was protecting her peace. In Texas, we're taught to keep family close, even when it hurts, but Ava showed us that family doesn't mean enduring abuse. Love should lift you up, not tear you down. Her story also reminds us that success isn't about degrees or pedigrees, it's about grit. Ava built Narrative Edge from a garage, no college, just a library card and a dream. Every failure, every jab from Evelyn, could have stopped her, but she kept going, proving that a small-town girl can outshine any doubter. Finally, Ava's life in Hawaii teaches us that walking away isn't running, it's reclaiming your power. She didn't leave to hurt Evelyn, she left to save herself. If someone makes you feel less than, Ava says, you can walk away, across the street or an ocean. That's not revenge, it's redemption, a Texas-sized stand for your worth. These lessons aren't just Ava's, they're ours, a call to fight for ourselves, no matter who tries to dim our light. Y'all, Ava Thompson's story is more than a tale of rising above, it's a battle cry for anyone who's ever felt undervalued, especially in Texas, where we fight hard for what matters. From Lubbock's plains to Maui's shores, Ava showed us what it means to stand tall, even when someone like Evelyn calls you lowlife. She built a $10 million empire, supported a family that scorned her, and still found the courage to walk away when her worth was trampled. This isn't just a revenge story, it's a roadmap for reclaiming your power. If Ava's journey hit home, I need you to do something right now. Hit that subscribe button. Join our community of folks who believe in fighting for their value, Texas style. Drop a like if you're inspired by Ava's grit, if you've ever had to choose self-respect over toxic drama. But don't stop there, head to the comments and share your story. Have you ever faced someone who tried to make you feel small? Maybe it was a family member, a boss, or even a friend. What did you do? Did you stay silent, or did you draw a line like Ava did? Your story could be the spark someone else needs to stand up for themselves. Let's build a space where we lift each other up, where we celebrate the courage it takes to say, enough. If you're in Texas, you know we don't back down from a fight, and this is a fight for your worth. Check out our playlist for more stories of triumph, from small-town dreamers to big-city warriors, all proving that no one gets to define you but you. Ava's life in Hawaii, with Ryan by her side and narrative edge thriving, isn't just a happy ending, it's a beginning. She's mentoring others, like that Lubbock girl running her Austin branch, passing on the lessons she learned the hard way. Her message is clear: you don't need a degree, a fancy name, or anyone's approval to shine. You just need the guts to believe in yourself. So, grab a coffee, sit back, and let Ava's story sink in. Think about the people in your life who've tried to dim your light. What's stopping you from setting boundaries, from choosing yourself? Ava walked across an ocean to find her peace. Maybe your step is smaller, but it's just as powerful. This channel is here for you, every week, with stories that remind you of your strength. Subscribe now, turn on notifications, and let's keep this fire burning. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it, someone fighting their own Evelyn. Together, we can inspire a whole community to stand tall. Life's too short to let anyone make you feel less than. In Texas, we know how to fight for what's right, so fight for you. Keep shining, y'all, and let's make sure no one ever calls us lowlife again.